Hi everyone, this is Joanna. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I've been gone for the past couple of weeks, and some of you guys reached out to me to make sure that I'm okay. So, Allison and the rest of the gang, thank you guys so much for checking on me. I so appreciate it. I just had vacation with my family. I was away and I did not prepare videos for my absence. Which just shows that I'm not very organized. So, with that being said, we have a new project for today. Super simple, no extra tools necessary. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to make some of my scraps to come up with the new color, and the scraps that I'm using, that there's some gold, there is bronze and silver and graphite. And it really is fun to take some of your scraps and start mixing them and see what you get, because the color that I got today is really, really awesome, and I shall name it champagne. I think it does look like champagne, doesn't it? I think it looks just so pretty. So I rolled it out on the thinnest setting on the pasta machine, and then I grabbed some white, and that one is rolled out on the thickest setting of the pasta machine. I'm going to place my champagne, because that's what I'm going to name it, on top of the white. And you know, I do get questions. How do you get rid of the bubbles that you have in the clay when you work with clay? Well, this is perfect example. Look at that big fat bubble that I got right there. There's just not a chance that I could get rid of it any other way than just by popping it. And that's exactly what I usually do. I just had my X-Acto knife in my hand, but probably a needle would have been maybe even better, because then the incision would have been much smaller. Okay, so with my X-Acto knife, I'm going to start cutting. And I'm not quite sure where I got the idea for the pattern. Obviously, those are some kind of branches, leaves, I don't know. It just came to me. How does it happen? I don't know. Anyways, so what you want to do with your X-Acto knife or a razor, you can use also, the end of a razor, cut through the champagne color and a little bit of white. You don't want to go too deep into the white, because you will see what happens when you actually do. You will get some holes in your clay when we're going to continue with our technique. But there is really not much to it. You're just gonna take the X-Acto knife and just create whatever shapes you want to create. I mean, you can make swirls if it's even possible, or lines. And then I'm thinking maybe you can even use cutters if you want to use cutters, but just cut a little bit, just go through the champagne layer and just a little bit of the white, and don't go through all the way. I have not tried that, but I'm thinking that that might be an option as well. With this technique, for sure, a very important thing is that the top clay, whichever clay you're using, is rolled out on the thinnest setting of the pasta machine, so that you don't have to dig in to look for it. So now we are going to start stretching our clay, and you have to do it very delicate. So it's like, you can see I'm even like trying to hang the clay on my fingers right now. It's getting pretty warm here, so the clay is super soft, but that's all that we are doing. So as you're going to be stretching it, you are going to realize that certain techniques work better than others. For example, you don't want to have the cuts too close to each other, and because then they're going to kind of like rip into each other, and the shape, you're going to lose the shape. Now, another thing is that what I mentioned already, you're going to see it in just 1 second. Oh, you can see it right there. I was stretching and I created a hole, and that's because I put my X-Acto knife a little bit too deep into the white. But this is such a fun technique. You just go ahead and you start stretching, and this beautiful design comes to life, and I just love it. I really, really, really do like it. I think what I would like to try next time, maybe do two different colors, like do champagne on the thinnest setting, and then below champagne put another color also on the thinnest setting, and then the back color. So here my clay is already stretched, so I decided that it's way too thin just to create a pendant with that, so I'm placing it on another piece of white clay that was rolled out on number 3 of the pasta machine. And now once you attach both, it is all about cutting and creating pendants. So go and have fun with it. And of course, I cannot use the parts that tore on me, so hopefully you guys will not have as many of those torn parts as I had. But this is just very simple pendant. I told you most of my pendants are simple, but this one's like super simple. There's really not much to it. So I decided to go with 2 different shapes, and I'm going to show you how they look in just 1 second. So the original idea behind this pendant was to create a pendant and a frame. And it's very simple to create a frame. You just roll out clay on the pasta machine, and then you just slice it just like I did right here. Or if you have the extruder, you can also use the attachments for the extruder to create frames. So this was my first frame in this project, and I did something that I should not have done. For example, look here. I decided that I'm going to close off my little frame at the bottom before squeezing all the air and squeezing and attaching it to the pendant. So I constantly was fighting at the bottom with extra clay. So on my second pendant, I decided that, okay, I'm not closing the bottom of the frame until I'm perfectly happy with how the back is attached to the pendant. So you can see that I'm kind of squeezing the clay down to make sure that if there is any excess of clay, it will have place to go, and I'm not going to have the same issue as with my small pendant. And after I was done with the frame, I realized that I don't think I want to put frame on all of my pendants, because guess what? I really like the ones without the frame as well. So at this point, my pendants were ready to be baked, and I'm going to show you guys the outcome. Because I love the texture that we have created, I decided not to put resin on all of them. I just put it on one as a trial, because resin always brings out this beautiful shimmer in the metallic. But I just used the polyurethane on top, just a regular varnish, just so that I can hang on to that beautiful, beautiful texture that I just achieved. And I'm very happy with the way they came out. But let me show you. This is the resin one. I didn't realize that there are some bubbles hiding in there. It looks terrible, doesn't it? Well, it teaches me just to take a little bit more time before I set the resin. I did not lie to you guys when I said that this is a very simple technique. You don't need anything fancy to create it. And guys, let me know what you think about it. It's fun, right? And the possibilities are endless, especially if we're going to be using different layers of clay. But that's for another video. With that being said, I hope you're all doing great. And till next time, my friends. Ta-ta!